You know what's scary? Realizing something affected you years later.
Whew, starting strong already.
No, seriously. Like one day you're just washing dishes or driving somewhere, and suddenly your body remembers something your mind buried.
That's real.
And the wild part is, sometimes it's not even the big things.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's little moments, little comments, little disappointments, little abandonments.
Tiny emotional paper cuts
Yes.
that slowly become emotional blood loss.
See, this is why I can't do this podcast with you peacefully. Because why would you say it like that?
Because it's true.
It is true. That's the problem.
I think a lot of people don't realize how much energy pretending takes. Pretending something didn't hurt. Pretending you're okay. Pretending you're not disappointed. Pretending you don't care.
Pretending someone didn't change you.
That too.
I think people hear the word affected and automatically assume crying, sadness, breakdowns. But honestly, sometimes being affected looks like becoming emotionally unavailable.
Or overly available. Because some people disappear emotionally after pain, and some people overperform emotionally after pain.
Woo!
Some people become colder. Others become caretakers.
That's deep because some people become useful instead of healed.
Yeah.
That just sat in my chest a little.
Good. Let's sit.
You are something else, Sage. Can we talk about how the body exposes everything eventually?
Absolutely.
Because people think avoidance means something disappears. It doesn't. It relocates.
Into the nervous system, into sleep patterns, into irritability, into exhaustion, into always needing noise around you because silence starts sounding too honest.
Ouch.
No, seriously. Sometimes people stay overstimulated intentionally, always scrolling, always working, always watching something, always talking to somebody, because stillness starts bringing things back up.
That's why some people are terrified of slowing down, because slowing down forces inner flexion. And I think about this a lot. You know, physician and author Dr. Gabor Mate talks about this throughout much of his work. One of the things he emphasizes is that emotions we don't acknowledge don't simply disappear. They often show up somewhere else, in our stress, in our bodies, in our relationships.
Whew, and that's what makes it so tricky. Because years later, we're trying to fix the symptom without realizing the feeling underneath it never got a chance to be heard.
Exactly. Sometimes what we're calling exhaustion is actually carrying something we never gave ourselves permission to process. And some people have spent years outrunning themselves.
And they're tired. They just don't know why.
Right, because they never stop long enough to find out. Can I confess something?
Always.
I think some of the most emotionally neglected people become the safest people for others.
Absolutely.
Because they know what abandonment feels like. So they overcompensate. They become listeners, fixers, helpers, advisors, comforters.
Meanwhile, nobody notices they're drowning.
Exactly.
Strong people get overlooked a lot.
Because everyone assumes, oh, they got it. When really they just learned how to carry pain quietly.
And they learned it young. That's the part people don't always see.
Say more.
A lot of the people who are the most emotionally resilient, the ones everyone leans on, they became that way because at some point no one leaned into them first, so they built strength out of necessity, not because they didn't need support, but because support wasn't offered.
That's a lot to sit with.
It is, but it matters to name it because those people deserve to be seen too. I think healing really begins when we stop minimizing our own experiences, not exaggerating them, not becoming trapped in victimhood, but simply telling the truth. That hurt me. That exhausted me. That changed me. That mattered.
You know what I think people struggle with? Permission.
Explain.
People think acknowledgement means weakness, like if they admit something hurt them, they somehow lose power.
When honestly, the opposite is true. You know, Brené Brown's research comes back to this idea over and over again. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's honesty, it's courage. And healing becomes really difficult when we're constantly trying to protect ourselves from the truth of what we're feeling.
Yes, because today's conversation isn't about staying stuck in pain. It's about finally telling the truth about it.
Exactly. Avoidance delays healing. Honesty begins it.
And I want to add, honesty doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be a breakdown. Sometimes it's just a quiet moment with yourself where you finally say, yeah, that got to me.
That quiet moment is everything.
I used to think softness was fragility.
A lot of people do.
But now I think softness is honesty. Like being honest enough to say, I'm tired. That affected me. I need rest. I need space. I'm not okay today.
Softness is inner understanding. And honestly, some people only become hard because softness was never protected properly.
That one almost took me out.
Good. Let it land.
Nobody warned them that their softness was safe to keep, so they closed it off, wrapped it up, told themselves it was a liability.
When really, it was always a gift.
Always.
Maybe healing doesn't always begin with breakthroughs. Maybe sometimes it begins with acknowledgement, with finally becoming honest with yourself, with putting down emotional armor you've been wearing too long.
With resting, with feeling, with admitting that mattered more than I said. If this conversation touched something inside of you, don't rush to fix it. Just notice it.
Notice what came up. Notice what felt familiar. Notice what made you uncomfortable. Sometimes awareness arrives before understanding.
And sometimes healing begins long before we feel healed.
With honesty, with acknowledgement, with giving yourself permission to stop pretending something didn't matter.
Who?
What?
Nothing. I'm just realizing how many things people survive without ever giving themselves credit for surviving.
That's real.
Yeah. And maybe that's where softness begins. Not in having all the answers, not in getting over it, but in finally saying, that mattered.
And allowing that truth to be enough.
For today.
For today.
Take care of yourselves, beautiful souls, and be gentle with the parts of you that are still healing.
We'll see you next time on SoulShine.